Hello, I'm Karen and we're in April. And in this video, I'm sharing with you how to make this cardigan. It is actually my design from 2010. Just share you just the white version. I know you can't see it very well, so don't worry. So this is the green one. The green one, if I just show you here, look. So this is what it looks like when you can see all of it. So I've redone the pattern. And there is this version as well, which this one, look, has just got the plain sleeves, whereas this one has got the frills on the sleeves. Okay, right, so oops, I'm going to be using purple today, and I've got my pattern. So I've got my pattern there, and I'm using a 5mm crochet hook. I'm using Pato Everyday double knit yarn. Okay, right, so I'm going to do this cardigan, and the video is potentially going to be in portions as we go along, and so you might have part one, part two, whatever. And for this very beginning section, I'm going to be telling you a story after we've got to a certain point. But what we need to do is I'm going to be following my instructions, which is just there. Look, I don't know if you can see the instructions. Anyway, we're going to begin with a chain of 36, and I'm beginning with a twist on my hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 and 36. Before we go any further, I just want you to know that this is for a newborn size cardigan only. Okay, right, so now we're going to work into the fourth chain. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're doing the treble crochet if you're in the UK, and it's a double crochet in the US. So we work into the fourth chain. Okay, then it says that we need to work into the next 3 chains. So 1, 2 and 3. Just so that you're aware then, so this chain here that we did there, that counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just so that you know. In the next chain, we're going to work 3 treble crochet or 3 double crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And this is where we go around the corner. But remember, this is also the granny stitch, which is why I refer to it as being a granny pattern. And then we're going to work into the next 5 chains. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, yep. Into the next chain, we're going to work our 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3. And for those of you that's never done this type of cardigan before, what happens is this bit would be, so if you're doing it as a cardigan, this would be the front. This is going to go over your shoulder. Eventually, we're going to fold it over. And now this next section we're going to do is technically going to be across the back if it's a cardigan. So now I need to do 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to work 3 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, all in the same space. Now we're going to work in 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to work 3 in the next one. 1, 2, 2, 3, and we're going to work in the last 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so once you've completed this round, it should be able to sit and fold it like flat, and it'll look like a C for crochet. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn, and my pattern says to work into the second to last double crochet or treble crochet from the previous round. So that's the last one, and this one, so you're going to be skipping that one, working into there. So that is going to be counting as a stitch. And then, because I have written it actually in actual proper instructions, so it does tell me that obviously it's going to be a repeat, but it says to double crochet in the next 4. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what actually happens with this pattern, it's a repeat pattern. So you can see here, look, this is the group of 3. I've already worked into that first one. We're going to, into the middle of these ones is where we're going to keep doing the 3. And this is going to be our natural increase to get around the corners, which is also going to be able to make us form the armholes when we get to that point. Okay. Excuse me. I forgot to tell you it's April, by the way, just so that we know that. This is April's video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep working the pattern because it's just a repeat. And every time we get to the middle of there, I'm going to do the 3. But I need to tell you the story about the cardigan. Okay, and so this cardigan pattern I began writing in May 2010. And what happened is, so you've got a little bit of background history, is at that time I'd been in my house for about a year or so, and I'd only been crocheting for just over a year because I learned to crochet just before I moved into this house. And I was a lone parent at that time. I was at college trying to actually better myself to be able to get a job. I was volunteering so I could actually get some work experience. And I was making little tiny booties, slippers, and what I called purses. Sorry if you can hear some background noises. We've got work people outside in the roads. So yeah, so I was doing all of those things and selling my little pieces on eBay to try and earn myself a little bit of money to be able to buy my kids a Christmas present. And somebody had asked me on my eBay if I was able to crochet a cardigan. And at that time I said I didn't know, and assuming that I'd be able to easily find a pattern at that time, that I would see if I could make one. And so I went on this mission. I was searching all over the place, and at that time on the internet there genuinely wasn't anything that I could find that I thought was appropriate. And I mentioned it to a colleague, and my colleague said to me, oh, I think I can help you with that. And they actually ended up giving me this pattern. So this beginning bit of this pattern is not mine. It never was, and it wasn't whoever wrote it at that point neither. I know that for a fact because if you remember in my Dora video, that's where I found this sequence, which would dated back to the 1930s. And that was actually done for, I do believe it was when Princess Margaret was being born. And I don't know if they knew whether it was going to be a boy or a girl when they was designing the patterns. So they did several different designs, and I do have the book. So that's the book there. I've got the original book there, with that cardigan in. It's actually, just so that you can just see it, just for the sake of, it was the Dora cardigan. So it was on number 8. The pattern was number 8, and that was the original cardigan. And as you can see, it got the collar on it, just like I ended up doing with mine. But the cardigan that I actually was looking at, the pattern I got, didn't actually have the collar on it. So anyway, it was like I got the pattern, I decided I've got to make it my own. I've done my 3 in there, yeah. And I sat designing the cardigan, and I decided I wanted it to have the granny pattern, so I was doing alterations. The pattern also had straight sleeves. I wanted to taper the sleeves, and I just wanted to make it pretty and feminine because I needed, at that particular time, it was a cardigan for a little girl. And so that's what I was trying to achieve. Now, because I actually knew, I was new to crochet at that time, and I did have somebody who was supposed to be a friend of mine, and I sent my work to them and asked them if they could like check it, and they was picking fault with different bits and bobs. They said that they would sort it out for me, and when they sent my work back, they'd sent me a link to also protect my computer, which actually turned out to be a computer virus, and I lost all of my work, everything. I lost all of my photos of my children, the whole lot, and I was completely and utterly devastated. And that person insisted that they didn't know, and obviously at that point I still believed that it was just a genuine accident. Never once did it cross my mind that they would do something like that to me on purpose. Right, so we've got to the very end now. My pattern says you've got to work into this very end chain. So we've got to do 1 stitch in the very end chain. And just to make sure that you're keeping on track with this pattern, if you're not going to follow the instructions properly and you're just going to do what I'm doing, which is just working the tops of them and do your 3 in the corner, do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 stitches before that corner. And this chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stitches before that corner. So we know that we're on track, just to help you. For those of you that want to sit and do the pattern, I have redone it. I've put it up for sale in my Etsy shop. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Right, chain 3, turn. Remember, you don't work in that one, you work in here. So yeah, so at this point, I'd lost all of my work. And also, because obviously I was actually doing my little things on eBay, I couldn't even get on my eBay to help me with my eBay sales, and I was absolutely distraught because what bit of money that I had earned at that time I had to spend on getting the virus out of my computer. I'm saying I lost everything. At that time, they wasn't able to retrieve things, and I really was distraught. But anyway, the other thing that happened as well, my mum had a heart attack at that point. So that was another addition of like little stresses into the life that I was having at that time. And so eventually, after I got everything fixed, I said to the friend, like, can you send me my stuff back, please? And they seemed to be very reluctant about it, but they did send me my stuff back. And then they kept asking me if I was ready to publish, because what I was actually doing was making a little hat and some booties to go along with the cardigan, because as far as my research was concerned at that time, you did things which was called a layette. So you'd got a little set of things rather than just selling just the cardigan. And I was looking at knitted things, obviously, as a reference of like how I should package up this little pattern. And so I knew I wasn't ready, and obviously I'd got a lot on my plate. Like I said, I was at college, I was a lone parent, I've got a bit there, and working as well as voluntary to try and get me some work experience. And that person eventually gave in pestering me. I carried on with things, eventually got the pattern completed, and I know I'm guilty of not checking what that editor did. And hands up, that was my fault when they sent me my work back. So I just shoved my work into the pattern, into the bit with the hat and the booties, and went and put it up for sale in my Etsy shop. And when I got there, I thought, oh, I'll go and have a look to see how they're doing, because I knew that they'd got an Etsy shop, and I thought, well, I'll go and see how they're doing. And when I got there, not only was the cardigan there, but all of my ideas that I'd suggested about turning it into a little dress and how you could make it even longer. You could make it into like a little like sleeping baggy thing and put buttons across the bottom. You name it, they'd done it, and they'd had thousands of sales. And so I was like, oh my God. And when I searched on Etsy and I searched the internet, then I could see that that was everywhere. There was, that style of cardigan was just everywhere. And I was like, okay. And so I ended up falling out with that person, because at the end of the day, not only was it taken from me, they was taken from my children. I couldn't, I mean, yes, I could feed my children, but they was taken away from them. I was trying to get them a Christmas present, and it really, really did definitely upset me. And so I just, yes, over the years I did different cardigans, but I never did this particular one. And then several weeks ago, really, I'm not quite sure, a month or two ago, it just came into my mind that I needed to redo the cardigan, and I didn't know why. I was like, why? It's 16 years, 16 years since I did this cardigan, so why do it now? It's all over the internet. Everybody's done it. People have done all the viral cardigan video and this, that and the other, and they've been adding the chains in, they've been changing the stitches, they've been doing all sorts of different things with it. So why did I need to do it? And I didn't know. But I did. I went and looked at the pattern. I saw that there was some errors in there, and I thought, okay, I'm going to redo it, and I'm going to rewrite the pattern. And that's what I set out to do. And I decided that as I was doing it, I was like, oh, it's just full of all of these sad memories. And obviously everything that I've just told you all came flooding back. And it was one of those ones where I wanted to change the memories to do with the cardigan more than anything else, because the pattern itself is beautiful, and I don't need to change the pattern, not in the slightest. I mean, the actual written version, yes, there was a couple of errors, but the actual pattern itself, no. And so I decided that once I'd done all of that, it needed to be done as its own little item, its own cardigan. So that's what I did. And it is now up for sale in my Etsy shop. So the green cardigan that you can see on the front of it, that was the one that's got most of the photos I did, and the one with the straight sleeves, that's what I've done as my little adverts on there, just for those people that do want to go and buy it. And I've also, for those that bought it in the original version, which was under the white cardigan, I have actually added the cardigan in there so they can actually have the corrected version with its edits in it. So there's all those different versions there. That's the end of, so I've done, this is row 3. 1, 2, 3, row 4. And so yeah, so as I was crocheting the cardigan and redoing the pattern and getting all my pieces ready, because for the video it takes about 3 hours to make the whole cardigan, and I wanted to do videos, so I've been crocheting crocheting the pattern, so we've got it up to certain pieces so that I can make the videos to make life easier. And then I found something that amazed me. So for those of you that don't watch my videos all of the time, I discovered that I could, there was a crochet code, like a written, it's complex anagrams is what I ended up calling it. And I did a few videos where, so I use a word such as happiness, break it all into its little components, and then do that as the beginning of a crochet pattern. And I wondered if this beginning of this crochet pattern could actually turn into anything. What words could I find? And so I was playing that game, and when I found what I found, I was like, it makes sense now. I know now why you've come back to me after all of these years, so that they can tell the truth. Because the person that actually wrote the pattern in the beginning actually put their name inside the actual pattern. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my calculations just so that you can see it. I don't need you to understand how it works or anything else. I've got beyond trying to explain that. But I just want to share my results from that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put this down. So just so that you know, you need to get to round 6 for that bit. So the original bit, can we see this? I don't know if we can see properly. I've got to make sure that it's on camera. So begin with a chain of 36, and there's 41 of the treble crochet. So this line, one line represents a treble crochet or a double crochet, depending where you're from. And as you can see, it makes every single letter of the alphabet there, and we get 808 because we've got 10 of these C's left over. The 808 was in the Voynich manuscript, which meant treble crochet, chain 1, treble crochet if you're in the US, or double crochet, chain 1, sorry, treble crochet in the UK, so treble crochet, chain 1, treble crochet, and double crochet, chain 1, double crochet if you're in the US. And that 808 was in the Voynich manuscript. Okay, and so I carried on, and there it is. Queen Elizabeth wrote pattern, and we've got 888, which is treble, 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 or double, 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 which is the actual granny stitch. So there we go. So whoever tries to say that they wrote it, they designed it, they did whatever, they didn't do this very beginning section. And like I said, I knew I didn't. It's like I was trying to adapt it. And so I just wanted to share that one, just so that we've actually got the actual truth out there. Oh, and actually, while I've got my pen, my notepad, have I got a pen? Please tell me I brought a pen with me. Oh, yep. Right, so I'm just going to write this down so you can see. Right, so this is save 20. Yeah, you can see that, save 20. That's the code. That is, so it's a promotional code. So if you go to my Etsy shop and when you buy something, put save 20, it's going to save you 20%. So it, and I've put it, so it's on, it doesn't matter, you can buy one pattern and use it and go, I really like that pattern, I think I'll buy something else. So, or you can buy multiple patterns and still put in the 20, and you get 20% off every single pattern that you buy. So it's, and I'm not putting an end date on that. I'm going to leave that running. Okay, so if you've watched it this far to this video and you've made it to this point, then it's save 20. I haven't got all of my patterns up for sale in my Etsy because obviously at that time that destroyed me. When I was when my supposed friend put up all of the work up for sale and used all of my ideas and absolutely everything, so I never stuck a chance with that there. I ended up going and doing my job. I did, obviously. I finished the college course. I got a job. I did that. Unfortunately, that ended up ending because there wasn't enough funding for me to carry on doing that job. So I ended up doing another job. And that's how life went. But in the meantime, obviously, as you know, it's like I did start doing YouTube videos. And I did the Converse slippers. It's funny actually when I look at my Etsy shop now and I look at the Converse, all the Converse slippers that are for sale. So many people have done it, but they've done AI images at the front, and I've noticed that they're doing it at the front of their crochet patterns as well, of like on their videos. So, and they make them look like they're really, really neat, but crochet is never ever that neat and that perfect. So don't be fooled by those fakeries. If you find a picture that looks a bit, go, oh, they don't look so good at crocheting, they don't, in comparison to that other one. It'll be the one that doesn't look so good is actually probably going to be the genuine pattern. But anywho, that is the little story of this actual pattern, just so that you know the truth. I've given you a discount off thing, and just so you can see. So obviously, I might have gone a bit OTT with the pattern this time. So you can see, look, so it's, here's my pattern. It's got little step-by-step pictures all the way through. So we've got that one. We've got all the little bits. That's a picture of that other cardigan lot. And there, so we've got all the different stages for you to be able to see. And I'm going to do the videos of it. I think that's one of my favourite pictures, actually, of it. It's really pretty. Yeah, so just so you know, it's 12 pages long in total. Yeah. I have got it for sale in my Etsy shop, but I say you can also do it for free by doing it. So to this stage, you want to get to row 6, and because I've said to you, I've already prepared pieces. The next video, you're going to see me. I'm going to be carrying on. So this has got to. We've done 6 rows on here. I'm going to carry on from here because we're going to be making the armholes in part 2. Okay. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, and that's if you do, you know, you're supposed to, what you're supposed to say, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'm sorry, I think some of those sales pitches are really bad, but anyway, thank you anyway. All right, so talk to you in a bit, bye.